In this episode, I'm going to look at a Sanyo VCR7250. This is a Betamax built by Sanyo, and it behaves completely different than all other betas. Unlike a regular beta, which the tape stays loaded, this one unloads the tape when you press stop, like a VHS machine used to do. Check this one out. I have a Sanyo SuperBeta machine that was given to me to check over, and this is a client that I'm doing some archiving for him, and he bought this machine because he's got a couple beta tapes, but ended up bringing me his tapes to digitize for him and said he didn't need the beta machine, so it's mine. I got to check it over and see if it's working, and if not, we'll do the basic service on this thing because I haven't plugged it in yet. I just got it, but it'll add to my beta collection. Got the remote control for it too. Looks like one of the doors that covers up the controls here is missing, but everything else appears to be there. Video, audio only, and beta HiFi off. Tuner, external simulcast for the input. Let's pop the top and take a look inside this thing, and then we'll put a tape through it and see whether this one works. Now, when most people think beta, they think Sony, and Sony did build the vast majority of beta machines on the market, but other companies did build their own, and this is a Sanyo machine. And the first thing you'll notice is the layout is a little different than your run-of-the-mill Sony. The transport should be completely different than what Sony was turning out. Let's take a look under this circuit board here. Should be able to access this by just removing the screws that are marked with the white paint. Should be, I think, 4 of them. Nope, just 2. Those ones are on a hinge. Here's the head assembly. We'll take a look at the transport on the tape threading transport, and you'll see that it'll resemble what Sony's did, but Sanyo, of course, did things different. Let's see how much different and see whether it's any better than Sony's. And I think you'll agree that probably this looks to be a little more robust than a lot of the Sony ones, which of course Sony were good. It had those guide pins that popped up with a spring. You'll see this one here has the more conventional full loading arm as opposed to Sony's design. Let's put a tape into this thing. I do have beta tapes here in the shop, so we'll hook this thing up and see if it does anything. So first of all, turn on the power, and we see that I have snow on the screen. This is some stuff that I shot down in Las Vegas when I was down there. Hopefully this is not going to eat this tape. And let's try play. Okay, I see a problem already. And that is that it's going to, looks like it does have a, oh, don't stop. Don't. I see a bit of a problem already, and that's that it's not taking up the tape. And it was making one heck of a noise there. But one thing you'll notice about the design of the Sanyo is that it unwraps the tape when you press stop, unlike Sony, which kept the tape threaded at all times. This one actually behaves more like a VHS machine in that respect, because when you press the stop button, it ejects, or it unwraps the tape. Now I know why this machine was given to me. The guy bought this to transfer his beta tapes, but it looks like it wasn't going to work, so he has abandoned that idea and given me the machine and gave me his beta tapes to transfer. So let's find out why tape is spilling. It's going to be something in the reel take up here, I can just tell, and it's also making a lot of noise that I don't think it should be making. Well, if we take a peek, oh come on camera, don't do this. My camera's deciding it's going to try to do, look at this. That's the lens shaking. What's happening is the whole camera is vibrating when it does that. It's like it's detecting slight amount of movement. It's trying to correct for it, but it's overcompensating. That's the active steady shot with the servo lens. Anyway, you look down here. This has got one of these troublesome tires, and I think what's happened is this tire has just kind of gotten worn out, and that's why the take-up is not. There's not enough torque for take-up. If I remove these screws on the side here, I'll get a longer screwdriver for that. Make my life a little easier. They even put a cutout in the side of the chassis here to access that screw. Almost like they expected the service people to do this, to work on this machine. This should just lift off. Ah, look at that. Now I have access. These were nice machines to work on. You know, people would say Sanyo was crap. But Sanyo actually did make some products that weren't bad. And their beta machines actually weren't bad. The first beta machine I owned was a 9100. And that thing was a boat anchor, and it just, I couldn't kill it. I don't know how many beta tapes I put through that thing, but I put hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of beta tapes on there. And then I went and got a Sony. Then that was before I worked for Sony. And then when I worked for Sony, I got the SL5200, which I still have. And then from then on, of course, that was all Sony stuff that I bought. So I'm going to remove the idler. First, I'm going to take out the take-up hub, and then we'll remove the actual idler itself so that I can try and either repair or replace the tire itself. So hub is out, turn the idler, and just lift it out. So I found an O-ring that's about the same size as this tire. Let's put this O-ring on and see whether the O-ring will take the place of the tire. So there's the O-ring on. Let's try reassembling this unit and see whether it works. So it may not work. It may. We'll find out. Find out pretty quick here. Okay, power on. Power on. We'll try fast forward. Hey, tape's moving forward. Tape's moving in reverse. This might work. This might work. Let's rewind this tape back. It is moving. And the tape is now rewound. You saw the end of the leader there. Let's hit play and see whether we get a picture. This is a very old tape that I shot. This is source footage, I think. Down in Las Vegas. Many years ago. Tracking. Where's my tracking control? Oh. I hit pause. I wonder what happened there. Let's try cleaning this machine and see what happens. What you'll find with an old machine like this, when I press stop, like a VHS machine, it unloads the drum. I thought Beta was supposed to keep the tape loaded. Well, Sony's machines did. But as you can see, Sanyo's machines did not. They unloaded the drum just like a VHS machine did. We're going to clean the heads, so I'll just take my alcohol and rotate the head. This is only a 2-head machine. There probably won't be much in the way of dirt on here, but I want to clean the lower drum. And Sanyo was the first in the Beta machines to use a split 2-piece drum. The original Sony machines used a 3-piece drum, where the whole middle section spun. And of course, Sony later adopted the 2-piece drum that Sanyo had from day one. So let's clean this bottom groove out here on the lower drum. We'll try playing this tape again. Looks like Dropout City, doesn't it? And the SuperBeta off. I don't know. I think this was recorded in SuperBeta. This would have been the tape onto the camera. This tape was edited. You want to see this? This is looks like the raw footage. This tape was edited and was put up onto my YouTube channels. Las Vegas Neon Part 1 and Part 2, I believe. There's 2 of them. So this is the raw footage. Although this tape doesn't look to be in great shape, but it might be this machine. See an awful lot of dropouts on this. I'm just going to try a different tape. So just rewind this one. And we'll try a different tape on this thing and see how another tape works. I found the original Sony training seminar recorded February 29th, 1985. It was the instructor was Omar Morier. I don't know if he's with us anymore. That was a long time ago, and he was getting up there in the years at the time, but it's the Sony training seminar that I attended in 1985. Let's, this one's also up on my YouTube channel, but let's see how this tape plays in this machine and see if it plays it any better. It doesn't look like it's playing it any better, so
we feel may be a problem in the future for you.
This looks like this pause
There
button.
haven't been to date, of course, but
That almost looks like
one of the mechanics be a problem. However,
looks like a problem with this recorder still. It almost looks like interference, doesn't it?
It's quite different from what
It looks like...
You've all seen the sales information on SuperBeta or not? Probably not.
That looks like interference being picked up by the heads.
You come away with a feeling that, man, well, this thing will do a lot of things.
Since the lines are mid-pitcher, I gotta think that we're losing contact with the tape somewhere mid-drum. The drum spins this way. So the start of the pitcher at the top is over here, and the bottom of the pitcher is over here. I'm just going to take a look around these are little springs that push on the top of the tape to hold it in place. And sometimes you get dirt building up around them. Because it sure looks like, oh yes, there's some dirt around here, you see. It sure looks to me like the tape is coming out of contact with the head. Somewhere mid scan. I'm keeping the heads away from where I'm scrubbing here. As you can see, there's a fair bit of dirt in here. What this piece does is it keeps the tape pushed down, keeps it from riding up the drum. One of the strengths of Sony with the three-piece drum was that the center portion of the three-piece drum reduced friction, because of course that was helping the tape move around. Sanyo went with this two-piece drum, which there's a tendency for the tape to stick to the drum that's not turning. That was always an advantage of VHS with the top part of the drum spinning. Sony's answer to that when they went to the two-piece drum was to not have this as a shiny, smooth surface, the top portion. But Sanyo, this is a really smooth surface, and the tape tends to adhere to it. So even when I'm playing a pre-recorded tape, I'm getting these lines on the picture. If we look over at the scope, you'll see that the waveform has a dip in it, and no amount of adjusting the tape guides will correct this. You know, the levels are about as good as I can get them. I'm just going to put the head shield back in place and see if it improves the picture at all. Get everything grounded properly, because this machine is really susceptible to any type of interference whatsoever. And of course in the shop here there's a fair bit of noise just generated by things such as, well, the plasma screen running, all the compact fluorescent lights running around me here. This is not a quiet, as far as electrical equipment goes, this is not a quiet place. There's a lot of noise around here, including my AM transmitter, which is currently off because it's going to cause a lot of interference. It'll blow the HiFi soundtrack right out, because the frequency I'm operating at is right where one of the carriers operates. So if I turn that thing on, 400 milliwatt 1440 carrier, it wipes out the HiFi soundtrack completely. Well, there's the head shield, and I haven't put the cover on yet, but you see, even if I put my hand on the head shield, I still get a bit of a noise. But then I'll put the top cover on it and see if it improves, and see if that clears it up. Here's something interesting. This is a different machine playing the tape. This is my SL5200 playing this tape now, and I brought my other machine in to verify, and it appears that the interference is being received in here on both these machines, causing the same type of symptoms. So now I gotta track down what the interference is. It might be the plasma screen sitting right next to it. I didn't think of that, but I'm going to try get a CRT monitor, and we'll try playing this back on a non-plasma screen, because as you can see, my SL5200 is playing the same tape with the same noise on it. And 3 tapes do the same thing in this machine as they do in this one. So I have to think something is interfering with the playback from my machines here. The plot thickens. Interesting. Do we think we have plasma interference here? I think we do. Let me just try my Sony Seminar. I don't want to play that Roger Rabbit movie because I don't need copyright problems. Let's play my SuperBeta training seminar tape. Oh look, it plays perfect. Let's put it into the Sanyo. I wonder if it will also play perfect. I think we have an interference problem here caused by that beast called the plasma. Hey, CRT is better. Thumbs up. Okay, once again, here's the Sanyo machine. Put my Sony SuperBeta test tape in here and pan up to the CRT monitor, and it's perfect. Damn plasmas. Damn plasma. Bloody plasma TV sitting 3 feet away is throwing out so much noise it's being picked up by the head amp. Even when I put my hand on top before it got worse, I got my hand over top of it now. Perfect. Let's look at my Las Vegas Neon Master tape. Now I've fixed this machine. The noise from the plasma was actually being induced over the AV cable connecting it to the plasma. As soon as I disconnected it, the interference went away on the CRT monitor. There we go. There's going to be probably some dropouts on this tape because this tape is pretty old. Oh, I think I might just clog my head there for a second. Yeah, that's a head clog, but it should clean itself off. There you go. Perfect. Looking great. Long live the CRT monitor. I tell you. Love the old CRT, especially this one. It's one of my favorite little sets. Little 8-inch Trinitron. Fantastic little set. Anyway, that's this Sanyo Betamax machine that behaves like a VHS. Yes, it's got search. It's got reverse and forward search, no problem. But when you go into full rewind, it unloads the tape like a VHS. How cool is that? Thanks for watching.